The Heart That Bled for Love, the Eucharistic Miracle of Tixtla, Mexico. There are moments when heaven seems to open, and God's presence breaks through the ordinary, not in thunder or lightning, but in silence, in the fragile white host of the Eucharist. In a small town in Mexico, something happened that would shake the faith of skeptics and strengthen the hearts of believers. It was a sign, a living, beating sign, of the Sacred Heart of Christ, still pouring love into the world. This is the story of the Eucharistic Miracle of Tixtla. It was October 21st, 2006, in the humble parish of Saint Martin of Tours, located in the small town of Tixtla, Guerrero, Mexico. The day began like any other. Simple Mass, local faithful gathered with quiet devotion, the scent of candles mixing with the sound of prayers. During communion, a sister of the missionary servants of the Most Holy Trinity was distributing the Eucharist. As she returned to the altar with a ciborium containing consecrated hosts, she noticed something strange. One of the hosts began to seep a red liquid, slowly, gently, like drops of blood. At first, she froze. Was it her imagination? Could it be a trick of the light? But the host continued to bleed, staining the corporal cloth beneath it. The priest, Dr. Raimundo Reina Estevez, approached reverently. He examined the host and immediately realized this was no ordinary accident. The bleeding was real, vivid, fresh, and alive. The liquid seemed to pulse faintly, as if it came from a living heart. The news spread quickly. Some cried. Others fell to their knees in silence. The church decided to preserve the host carefully and requested a full scientific investigation. Years later, a detailed study was conducted under the supervision of Bishop Alejo Zavala Castro. Scientists, including those who had no personal connection to faith, were invited to examine the sample. What they discovered left them speechless. Under a microscope, they found that the red substance was indeed human blood, type AB, the same as found on the Shroud of Turin and the Eucharistic Miracle of Lanciano. But that wasn't all. Inside the bleeding fragment, they discovered living cardiac tissue, specifically the left ventricle of a human heart, the part responsible for pumping blood through the body, and most notably, the part that suffers most during agony. The tissue showed signs of vital activity, meaning it came from a living being, a heart that was still beating when the sample was taken. One of the scientists, moved by what he saw, reportedly said, "This tissue is alive. It's as if the heart of a man who suffered greatly is here before us." No preservatives, no artificial explanation, no bacteria or contamination could explain it. The results mirrored findings from other Eucharistic miracles across centuries and continents. But Tixtla stood apart for one reason: the tissue was still alive years later. What does it mean that in a small Mexican town, God chose to reveal a living human heart hidden inside the Eucharist? Perhaps it is this: the heart of Jesus never stopped beating for humanity. In a world growing numb to suffering, numb to love, numb to the sacred, Christ offers his living heart again, not in symbols, but in reality. The host in Tixtla was not just bread, it was a cry of love, a reminder that the Eucharist is not a ritual, but a living encounter with a person who still bleeds for us. Every time the priest lifts the consecrated host, he doesn't just say words. He's standing at Calvary, the same sacrifice, the same heart, the same love, made present again here and now. The miracle of Tixtla isn't meant to shock us, it's meant to awaken us. For centuries, the Church has proclaimed that Christ is truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity, in the Eucharist. But for many, those words have become routine. We genuflect out of habit, we receive out of custom, and yet our hearts remain distant. Tixtla calls us back. It whispers, "This is real. My heart is here. Be not indifferent." The Eucharist is not a relic. It's a heartbeat. It's the pulse of divine love running through the veins of the world, still offering mercy to those who will listen. Every Mass, heaven opens. Every consecration, the same Christ who hung on the cross descends again, silently, humbly, into the fragile hands of the priest, and into the fragile hearts of his children. Today, the bleeding host of Tixtla remains preserved in a small chapel, a silent witness to the living love of God. Thousands visit each year. Some come seeking proof, others come seeking peace, but all leave with the same quiet awe that love himself is truly here. Perhaps that's the greatest miracle of all, that the God of the universe hides in a fragment of bread, waiting for you and me to notice. When you next walk into a church, pause for a moment before the tabernacle. Listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. There is a heartbeat there. It is his. Still beating, still waiting, still loving. Because the miracle of Tixtla isn't locked in a glass case in Mexico. It's alive every time we approach the altar with faith. And when we receive the Eucharist, the same living heart that once bled in Tixtla now beats quietly inside of us. The heart that bled in Tixtla still beats in every Mass, in every soul that dares to love him back.